Hi, I'm Ron Lamberty with Flex Fuel Forward, and in the first part of the Step 5 video, Tony Crooks, who works with the USDA department handling HBIIP, walks us through the information you'll need to enter for each of your locations. He also explains how the proper hose configuration can give you an advantage when grants are awarded. Check it out.
Okay, so now we're entering, let's say, a station data, an actual location that we're entering that for. When the app asks for the start date, the end date, title, what are those? Start date of construction. What is that asking for?
Well, you can't start your project under HBIIP until after you've received an award and after you've signed a grant agreement. So we would ask you to allow, when you're estimating, this is an estimated date. Sure. When you're estimating your project start date, that you would allow things to get started somewhere in November, October, November, after you've had a chance to review your agreement or your offer and sign the agreement. And then you can begin to incur expenses on that. And again, let's go over the time period. You're allowed up to 18 months to complete your project. And upon request, you may receive an additional 12 months. So a total of 30 months to complete your project.
And it's 18 months from when you're awarded a grant.
Yes,
so
sir.
If that ends up being a little later, then you've got obviously 18 months from that date. And if you put in a start date of October, but you haven't been awarded anything, I mean, this is an estimated start date.
Yes, sir, it is an estimated, and it certainly will be revised. We expect that. We just want to know what your plans are, and you give us an indication of that.
Okay, good. Priority scoring criteria, we've talked about that before. Interstate corridor, Seoul Station, the western states, including Hawaii.
Yes, sir, and Alaska.
States. And Alaska, okay.
And the 5 U.S. territories.
5 U.S. territories, cool. Again, the interstate corridor is within 1 mile of the interstate.
Yes, sir.
And Seoul Station?
1 mile radius, that with no station within that radius.
Okay, and it's not. Is it no station at all, or is it no station with?
No, we're talking about no fueling station.
Okay.
That's not necessarily a competitor that does not does not sell higher blends. We're talking about no station within the area.
Okay, then on each location you'll need the historical data, which is 3 years. Is 3 years of fuel sales.
Yes, sir. For the existing stations.
3 years of volume and dollar sales, and is it all grades of fuel?
We only want dollar for all fuel sold. It's volumes for all fuel sold and E10 and any higher blends that you have been selling and any diesel that you've been selling. Okay,
and then it asks about existing infrastructure. Is there a lot of detail required there? Is it just number of dispensers?
Yes, sir. That's what we want a picture of what the station is doing today, and then we want an idea of what it intends to do with the grant money.
Right, and I think the idea. Next item I have on is projected infrastructure and number of fueling positions.
Yes, sir. So let's talk about what a fueling position is. Okay. When you pull up to that dispenser, that dispenser will have on your side perhaps a fueling position, and on perhaps the other side a fueling position, right? Now, when we're talking about the worksheet, we want to know how many hoses are in that fueling position, both existing and what you're proposing. And if you are proposing to install a higher blends dispenser that has both E15 and E85 in a dedicated hose for those fuels, we'd like to know about that. If that E15 blend is going to be sharing a hose with the other fuels, 87, 89, 91, 93, we'd like to know that too.
Okay.
Now, and similarly, if this installation includes dedicated dispensers, like for example, in the state of California, there's a requirement that they have a standalone dispenser for E85 fuel. Or if that that higher blends fuel is going to be sharing a dispenser with the other fuels. We want to know about that too.
So if you have let's say an installation where you've got standard fuels on one hose, and then you've got a separate hose for E15 and E85.
Yes, sir.
Is that still considered one fueling position?
Yeah, it's still in one fueling position, yes.
But you also want to know then, in addition to the fueling position, you want to know what the
hoses. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Whether it's a dedicated or a shared hose. That's especially important with your score.
Okay. Which one gets you higher points?
So here's the idea. Okay. The closer you can get higher blends fuels in front of the consumer, the higher your score is going to be. We want to be able to we want that fuel to be able to compete in the marketplace, and we feel like the closer it can get to be just similar to any other type of fuel, because we are far less concerned anymore about, what do we call it? Misfueling, I think is the thing. E15 fuel is for any automobile sold after 2001, or it's like any other fuel that goes in, that can be used in that automobile. Now, if they have high test requirements, E15 can get them closer to that thing. So the idea is, the more we get, the closer we get this in front of the consumer, the higher the score is going to be for those activities that they're selecting. So shared hose is preferred to dedicated hose. Okay. Shared dispenser is preferred to dedicated dispenser. Now, in all cases, you have to follow the law at the state and any local regulations. But those are the ideas that we've the concept that we're trying to instill in this program.
So that's what I guess that if you were the best example would be E15 sold on the same hose as standard fuels, because then
yes, sir. Okay. That would be, and it would have its own button. It would have an 88 button.
Sure.
Right. And it wouldn't be in that way any other distinguishable in any other way, except for the little sticker that's required now to note that is E15.
Right. And you can't sell flex fuels on the same hose as standard fuels, so that would be
that's
going
correct.
To always be on a separate hose. But if it's on a separate pump, that's less attractive than if it's on the same dispenser as the other standard fuels.
Correct, in all points. I appreciate that.
Just as a rule of thumb, and it's mine, and it's you don't have to claim any ownership of this, but I don't think it's possible to miss fuel by using more ethanol. I think it's always correct to use more ethanol. So.
You must be right. You must be right.
If you need more information, go to the USDA HBIIP website or flexfuelforward.com or use the other contact methods shown here. Thanks for following us, and we'll see you next time.